Hey everyone, this is Nick from Mecha Warehouse, and today we're back with weekly update number 103. Let's kick things off with week in review. This is the part where I talk about what's been going on in the warehouse, things that are coming up, stuff like that. And I guess first off, the heat is back. Was it Tuesday? They finished the installation of the new furnace up front. You can definitely tell where the radius of where that heat kind of cuts off. I'm actually towards the back of the warehouse right now, and as a result, it's definitely a little cooler back here. Apparently the landlord intends to replace the other unit too, but kind of wants to see how the front one does first or something. So hopefully we'll figure that out before it gets too cold in here and get the new unit in if need be. But it's nice to have heat again and not be like completely freezing. That's been kind of a pain. We are working hard on trying to get caught up. We're still, I'd say, really far behind. I think as of this morning, we're within about a day's worth of packing to be caught up. So there's a chance that by the end of the day that we're pretty close to caught up today. Wednesday didn't help us at all though this week. We ended up having an issue with Shopify and UPS where we couldn't print UPS labels for a little while. I think it took the packing station down for like an hour and a half. And Wednesday we could only run one packing station due to the current staffing constraints. Every other day we've been able to run two. So I guess in some ways it was the better day to have the issue, but it slowed us down a bit, although we did get a good number out for the day considering. But all this has been had me kind of thinking lately about adding a third packing station. I don't think we could staff it right now. We want to be in a place where we could in the near future, but just thinking about how many orders we can pack in a given month, with two packing stations running at theoretical max capacity, and the number of orders we receive in a month, and those numbers aren't very far away from each other. We're getting close to the point where our capacity with the two packing stations will get completely taken up, and then when you factor in stuff like Shopify issues like what we had yesterday on Wednesday with the UPS label thing, or other issues that come up that just prevent a packing station from running at full capacity, it kind of means that we're going to need a third one at some point in the near future. It'll make training a new person easier because we won't have to slow a packing station down to kind of training speed in order to train somebody. So I think it's in our future. I really don't want to have to invest the cash right now. And the alternative would be adding shifts. And I don't know that that's really super feasible right now either. Like a Saturday or Sunday shift would make a lot of sense, but we really need somebody who can be eyes up on customer service while we're packing, and that means we got to hire somebody else on that end, which we probably need to do anyway at some point. So there's a bunch of different options, but I think a third packing station might be in our future. On the staffing front, we did get an applicant for the warehouse position, the 30-hour-a-week warehouse position that I mentioned last week. So I think we have an interview scheduled for Friday for that. If you're interested in the position, I would apply ASAP. Our MO's kind of been trying to hire as fast as we can for the most part. We might be a little bit slower on this one, I'm not sure, but if you're interested in that position, definitely get your application in soon. So that way we know that you're interested before we start trying to make decisions, because otherwise you might lose the chance. Couple other things to talk about this week. Next up, scalper fun. We had a lot of scalper fun last week. We noticed as we were getting to mid to late last week, I think it was on Thursday when we noticed last week, probably right after I shot the weekly update, we had a whole bunch of orders for two kits that were clearly scalper reseller kind of orders. It took us a little while to notice and see the pattern, but once we did, it was super obvious. So the two kits was the GYM, the HG GYM, the RGM 79, HGUC number 20, I believe, and the HGUC 7 gun tank. Both of them had cases where somebody placed orders for 5 or 6 or 10 or 12 or 15 or 20 of the same item. And the first couple that showed up like that, I think, were the gym and someone ordered 5. And it's like, okay, maybe somebody's building an army. I can justify buying 5. And then, we see another 5 and a 10. And I think in one case we saw one person try to place orders like that twice. And that's what kind of set off the radar and got us looking into all of these issues. And it turns out that those items apparently on Amazon are selling at a super high premium compared to MSRP right now. So most likely all these different people that are doing the exact same thing have some sort of app that must have told them that they were a good deal or a good buy for Amazon algorithm purposes and placed these large orders. And what cemented our belief in what was going on was when we looked up the addresses of where they were going, several of them were going to what are known as FBA Prep Services, which is a company that basically receives product. They slap whatever Amazon stickers need to be stuck on them and ship them to Amazon on your behalf. And as a result, we canceled those orders. So if you're a scalper out there and you're watching this, just be aware that we will cancel your order, especially if it's a super obvious one like that. If you're buying one of each of a handful of things, we probably won't notice it. It's hard to tell the difference between that and someone just buying a bunch of stuff. But if you order large multiples of things, we will cancel your order, and we very well, especially if it happens more than once, very well might hold you to our refund and cancellation policy, which means you might be stuck with a gift card you can't use or a partial refund to cover those credit card fees and stuff. And then finally, I got 2 more things. So maybe I should have said 3 things before. We're going to run we call it a pork chop sandwiches sale. I don't know what the official name will be that we put it out there, but if you ever see those old G.I. Joe moral of the story kind of ending clips that were edited kind of funny back in the day, you might know exactly what I'm talking about. But these are items that we want to get the out of here.
Pork chop sandwiches. Oh, get the out of here! What are you doing? Go! Get the out of here, you stupid idiot!
We've got a bunch of things that haven't sold in a long time, or maybe weren't even good sellers when we got them in initially. Most of them are things we only got a few of, so I think we're going to do 25% off on these items. We just want them out of the warehouse. We want as much of that cash back as we can to pay for the new stuff coming in, and we want the space for a product that's actually going to roll over and sell pretty well. A lot of these, I think all these items that I was looking at last night on the list when we were previewing it, none of them are super deep stock. So while they haven't moved well in the past, at 25% off they might. So if you want one, I would take a look ASAP, and would really appreciate it if you take any of those off our hands. The code will probably be down in the description if it's not on screen here somewhere. I gotta go look into that in detail. The other thing that you'll see, we're adding on the website sometime later today. It's not up there as I'm shooting this, but should be up there by the time you see this. We're going to have a last chance list published on the website, and that's going to be items that maybe did sell well, but we only have a few left of, and that collection will hopefully make it easier for people to see things that might sell out soon. And a lot of them are items that do sell pretty well. Some might be on incoming restocks in the near future. Others might not be at all for a long time. And so it might be worth perusing that list from time to time as you're placing your order, because it might be a chance to grab something that you might not otherwise be able to grab for a while. So that's it for Weekly Update. Let's do pre-orders. We had 3 new pre-orders this week. The first was the Plamax G002 Godwing Celestial Knight Megumi Asmodeus. Don't know much about it. It's another like Robe Mecha Girl kind of kit, or in that kind of vein. Looks kind of interesting. Has some wings and a funky hat and a big axe. And then we've got 2 Megami devices. I think these are both reprints. The Megami Device Soul Roadrunner and Megami Device Soul Hornet. Megami Device kits tend to be fairly popular kits for the most part, so this might be your chance to make sure you can grab one of those before they come in. That's it for pre-orders. Let's go do restocks. All right, restocks. So first up, master grades and real grades. Got a decent number of great master grades and real grades in this week. First up, the Buster Gundam. These tend to go pretty fast when you have them. We finally got a good number on them, but I think it's one of those master grades that's just perennially popular. It's like the seed heavy arms, if you will. So worth checking out. We also, from Seed, is the Mobile Jin. This is a relatively recent release. I think it came out last year, so we got these in again. And then we also got the Master Grade Hyzak. We have never had this one at Mecha Warehouse. And a lot of those kits, we did get a halfway decent number of these. A lot of these kits that we've never had before means that a lot of people don't have them yet. And so if you're interested in it, I wouldn't wait too long because they might not last super long. I think this is what's the year on this kit? This was a 2004. So from when Master Grade started getting halfway decent, so definitely worth checking out. We also got some more Sazabi Verka. We've had these in stock. I think we've been topped off a couple times on them. Our total stock is definitely starting to dwindle though, even with the restock, so I'm not sure when we're getting them again after that. We got 2 real grades in this week. We got the real grade Zeong. I don't think we've seen these since they were released last year. So good time to grab one if you didn't grab one already. And then we also got some of these Wing Gundam 0EW real grades. We did not get very many of these, so if you want this one, I definitely would grab it ASAP. And let's do high grades and some other lines. Cool. So next up, high grades. We got 3 high grades in this week. High grade Turn A. We've had these relatively recently. I think they were sold out though. Turn A seems to not stick around super long. We also got 2 others, the Ifrit Schneid. I don't know if we've ever had this one before, and I don't think we got a whole ton of them, so they probably won't last super long. And I think the same with the Gerber Tetra. We might have had this one before, I think a long time ago. But we didn't get a ton of these, so they probably won't stay on the shelves super long. A few other kits here too. I guess it's also technically high grade. We got topped off on the Baldwin arms, so nice little accessory pack to add some arms and like some missile launchers and armor things and stuff. Good way to upgrade and kit bash. We also got one SD, the SD-EX Sazabi. So if you want a tiny Sazabi for your desk or something, good time to grab one of those. And 30-minute missions, we got 2 kits. The Rashetta's back in stock. We don't know if we've had these for a little while. They've been in and out, I think. As well as the option body parts type GO2 Color C. Couldn't tell you what the differences between all the different colors and sets are, but we do have those in stock now too, as well as a bunch of the other ones actually. And then we also got the customized scene-based city area version. I think we've had these in stock. I really need to grab some of these myself. You can build kind of a raised roadway. They got some of these buildings, and it'd be a pretty easy way to build kind of a diorama, like city type diorama, without too much effort. It looks like they even have a cool picture in the back here that shows some painted, so kind of showing you what you can do with it. Pretty cool concept, and definitely one that's worth picking up several of, so you can kind of build out your city. And we got a few more kits to check out, so let's do those next. So last few we got. First up, the Ray Earth Spirit of Fire from Motoroid. Good smile. Yeah, we don't got a ton of these in, but we do have them, so now's a great chance to grab them if you're interested. We also got this Ink Dragon from Shengjing Technology, I think is the name of the company. Kind of an interesting kit. I haven't pulled this box open to check out, you know, what the kit itself looks like internally or anything like that. But it's a dragon. Pretty cool. I think it would pair nicely with, you know, like a Shenlong or Dragon Gundam or something, you know, maybe in a pose kind of behind it or something. Could make a cool diorama vignette kind of thing. And I think I might be grabbing one myself to check out. So anyway, that's it for restocks. Let's head back and do Q&A. All right, so that was it for restocks. Let's do Q&A. So this is where I answer questions from you, the viewers. If you have a question you want answered, post it down in the comments and I'll do my best to answer it next week. First up, Plastic Crack 305. Question, will Mecha Warehouse have multiple locations in New Hampshire and in different cities throughout the US at some point? So I can tell you with almost 100% certainty that we will never have another place, another location outside of New Hampshire, for sure. or pretty much for sure. I don't want to say never because you never know what the future holds and maybe something will change, but we have no plans, and I think it would have to be something crazy. We were able to sell with 0 sales tax because we're based in New Hampshire. New Hampshire doesn't have a sales tax and has some laws in place that help protect us from having to collect sales tax for other states. As a result, we have that nice discount. Any other state that we put a location in, we would definitely have to charge sales tax for that state if they have sales taxes. And furthermore, we would have to potentially charge sales tax for other states because of reciprocity laws and stuff like that, I think. As for other locations in New Hampshire, I could see another location at some point. We aren't really set up where we're at now to do any sort of like retail store, but I could see doing some sort of like retail outlet store at some point somewhere else in New Hampshire to be that like retail storefront space, or like almost like a community center where people can go and build and do things like that. But that's kind of far out right now. There's so many problems we need to solve with the one location first before I'm anywhere close to being in a position to look into that even. But great question. Next up, Reister Manster. I've seen the Girazula Angelo custom floating around recently. Do you by chance know when you may come by the Girazula Guards type high grade or the Girazulu high grade? I don't think either of them are on order right now from what I saw. Just double check real quick. Yeah, neither one is on order right now, or at least confirmed. There might be an unconfirmed order, like we just placed on the most recent order, but I don't have that information readily available in front of me. But hopefully they'll come around at some point in the near future. Digital Troa, any clue when more Witch from Mercury kits will be in stock? It's been really cool to see a new show have so much excitement. I guess I'll piggyback on the pre-order being worth it and wonder if adding a private warehouse customer hold would be better or worse for these situations. So, first part here, I don't know when the Witch from Mercury kits will be in stock. They were on the most recent order form, which is supposed to be for Q4, but they were listed for months that had already passed. So my assumption is they might be already on the way, already here, and they just have to divvy them up. I'm hoping we'll get a confirmation on those kits, or at least those months of those kits, earlier rather than later, so that way we can get them in and start selling them. I have a feeling the pre-order window for them will be really small, if that's the case, between when they go for pre-order and when they arrive, because we only offer pre-orders on things we have confirmations from or confirmations for. So I'm not really sure. Hoping soon. I think they're in Japan. I don't know what that lag between Japan and the US will be, but hopefully we'll see them soon. As for the private warehouse customer hold, would be better for the situation. So we've talked about private warehouse before. We pretty much will never offer a private warehouse. We thought about it briefly as offering it as maybe a premium service that you'd pay a subscription to have access to. And very quickly after that, we realized how crazy the logistics around here are getting and how space constrained we already are. I figured when we had this huge warehouse that we'd have a ton of extra space for a while, and we don't. We really don't have much extra space. We're gonna have to be looking at pallet racking and going vertical for storage to increase our storage capacity. And if I have to worry about that, then I definitely don't have room to private warehouse things. And furthermore, just trying to keep track of everybody's orders and storing everybody's stuff, like that's not worth it to me. Where that makes sense is places that are, overseas and charge you actual shipping charges rather than charging you a flat rate. If we were to offer that, we would have to charge you the actual shipping charge to not be just essentially giving away money in order to do more work, which doesn't make good business sense. So if you want stuff, take advantage of the flat rate, because you're stacking up that stuff would cost you like 4 times as much shipping for those larger orders. We often charge far less than what it costs us to ship an order, if that makes sense. Okay, next up. Plastic germs question. Are you finding it more challenging having a bigger warehouse compared to a smaller one? So I don't know about more challenging. I feel like we've got different challenges now. It solved a lot of the problems we had not having much space, right? With the small warehouse, we were just so space constrained towards the end there that it was making everything more difficult. We have more space now, although some of those issues are coming back as we're filling up the space here. It feels a little bit more challenging just as we're growing and getting more people to keep everybody like on the same page and everybody doing things the same way and things like that, we're running into new sets of problems. So to kind of reiterate, I don't think it's more challenging, but they're different challenges. And I think that just comes with growth, or the kinds of problems we're having as we're solving the problems of yesterday. The problems for tomorrow are different, and in some cases more challenging, but they're just more interesting or new things that we had to figure out how to overcome. Fun question: who were some of your heroes that you looked up to when you were young, and who are your heroes now that you look up to? This is a tough one. I guess I don't really idolize nearly anybody. I probably do have heroes that I think about subconsciously, but I don't feel like I ever I wasn't that person that would put a poster of somebody on my wall and think of them as my hero. I think, I don't know that I have any that I would really talk about. There's nobody that I'm trying to emulate or anything like that, at least not specifically. There's definitely individuals that I feel like embody maybe good values, good traits, but I don't really try to think of them as heroes, because isn't there like some saying about, not meeting your heroes because you'll be disappointed kind of thing? Like I don't idolize anybody, because I think everybody's got flaws, and in specific areas, there may be people that I admire what they do in that area, but it's kind of hard for me to answer that. Hopefully that's not a total cop-out, but I don't know how to answer that really without putting a ton of thought into it. All right, Jink923, question: are pre-orders worth the extra work on your end? I'm not sure how they work exactly, but it seems like it's simply a lot of single item orders that don't really allow buyers to add other in-stock items to the shipment. Is it worth the extra effort, stress, simply to secure their order ahead of time? So I don't think you understand how our pre-orders work currently. People on Mecca Warehouse, when you place a pre-order, you can in fact add other in-stock items to your order. That order doesn't ship until all the items are in stock. So that means if you place an order with a single pre-order and 10 in-stock items, it might not ship for a while. From my perspective, the challenge with that is actually, the hard part about that is we have to hold on to those other items. We got to store them, they take up space, and I'd rather get everything out the door ASAP. So I think from a customer perspective, it's totally worth it, right? You can get that item pretty much as soon as it comes out, as soon as we get it, as long as you're smart about how you place your pre-orders and not placing a pre-order from, they're coming out in very disparate months, because you might not be able to receive them all at once. So if you need something really fast, it's worth it for that perspective. Or if you want to get a bunch of items, including items that aren't released yet or not available yet, it can be totally worth it on that end as well. From my perspective, I think it's worth it because it lets us, we charge when those orders are placed to secure that pre-order. So it lets us use that cash for a while before that item comes in, essentially, and helps us pay for those shipments when they come in, which is very helpful, because cash flow is one of the most interesting and challenging problems at the scale that we're at right now, and trying to make sure that the money coming in covers the stuff that's coming in, and being able to rotate that cash and that stock correctly and at the right rate to make sure things are running smoothly. So hopefully that answers your question. I think it's overall worth it to everybody. There's certainly flaws in the system. Something gets delayed and holds up an order and things like that. But generally, if somebody reaches out, we can help fix those issues too. So hopefully that's helpful. Anyway, that's it for questions. So like I said before, if you have a question you want answered, post it down in the comments below, and I'll do my best to answer it. Thank you for watching. See you next time.